All right, it's 7 minutes after. I'm still getting emails on this. We're only going to be on this for a little bit because I want to talk about a bunch of other stuff. I don't know that actually affects your day-to-day, perhaps. Maybe it doesn't, but it might. 569-1080 is the number here, 907-569-1080. This is the Shannyn Moore Show. You can hear us on KUDO1080.com or KUDO 1080 AM radio. Patrick, welcome to the show.
Hi, Shannyn. Hello.
Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just sort of sorting through, Friday night news dump. Everything dumps at once. And can you turn down your radio or your computer?
Yeah, I'm listening on the computer. And I've heard that you were talking about the wild ride, and I thought it would be a good opportunity again to call in. The thing is that I just wanted to talk briefly about the wild ride again, if that's okay with you.
Okay, we just got a short time for it because, we've covered it since the day of the wild ride. I mean, before you even knew who Sarah Palin was, her wild ride from Texas to Alaska, we've been talking about for quite some time. So go ahead.
Yes, I will make it short. All I wanted to say is that Stephen Colbert recently said that when Sarah Palin is concerned, fact-checking and opposition research are the same thing because Sarah Palin knows the facts are out to get her, and that's the same thing with the wild ride. Because I just wanted to point out that in Going Rogue, she tells a completely different story about the wild ride than she did previously. Where previously, just a few days after the wild ride happened, she said, for example, that her water broke, and there's no mentioning of it anymore in Going Rogue, as an example. And there are more examples of that her own account of the wild ride is completely contradictory in many respects.
Well, I think there's a couple of things here. I think that the reason that there are conspiracies in any sort of situation, whether it's the killing of Kennedy or 9/11 or that Sarah Palin had a baby or not or whatever that whole conspiracy is, I think that they're there because people can't conceive of the official story. The official story just doesn't make any sense, and the fact that that the facts keep changing, or the story keeps changing as the people that were in there, I think that's part of the reason that conspiracy theories grow and seeming to prosper right now.
And the fact remains that Sarah Palin, if she was pregnant, had a high-risk pregnancy in many respects, not just because of her age, also because she was carrying a Down syndrome baby, which had a heart defect, had a hole in the heart. And as far as I know, you shouldn't go on board of a plane anyway if you are highly pregnant with a Down syndrome baby, because this can have severe health consequences. So in many respects, it was a completely unbelievable decision. It's an unbelievable story, and that's the whole problem with it. I mean, there would be one simple solution. Sarah Palin could, of course, show the birth certificate of Trig, what she's not doing. She has been asked several times to do that, even by her own campaign, which is mentioned in the book Game Change. And even to her own campaign, to the McCain campaign, she was not willing to show her birth certificate, to show the birth certificate of Trig. And the question is, why?
Well, I will say a couple things about this, and I've had this conversation with other people who are of the I don't want to say conspiracy ilk, but they don't believe. Let's just say this: they don't believe her official story, which I think is pretty unbelievable, and I understand why people don't believe it. But part of the reason she doesn't come out with that is that it works for her. I mean, she could make this whole story go away very, very easily by, like you said, letting go of this of the birth certificate. She could put that out there. She could have done that during the election. Why didn't she do that? Because it works for her. Because it makes people look crazy. Because it makes it seem like a conspiracy theory, and it works for her that there are people out there saying these things that seem really outrageous. Otherwise, she would fix it. She would change it. She has a very easy way to shut everybody down, and she doesn't do it because it's working for her. All of these stories work for her to sort of marginalize either bloggers or people with stories that go against her. And, anytime that you come out with a story that says something about her children, then suddenly, you're someone who hates anybody with Down syndrome or with special needs. You are some sort of hater of that and wish that she would have aborted it, and all these sort of things pile out onto you from the Palaband, as I like to call them. And if just in the sense like having questions about who this weekend, I put up a piece on Huffington, and my question wasn't about whether or not her grandson deserved to get health insurance through IHS. What it had to do with was, isn't she now exposing her grandchild, or isn't her grandchild exposed through his parents to death panels? Because that's what she had everybody all wired up about. So suddenly I'm a racist and don't believe that first Americans or first Alaskans need health insurance. So it basically creates this weird spin cycle from her camp, and it is working for her. Otherwise, she could stop it. Does that make sense?
Yes. By the way, that was a great blog by you on Huffington Post. It was really fantastic, and I do hope that this story about a Trip and his government health insurance gets more exposure in the mainstream media. I really hope that. And just one more thing, one short thing. The argument about that the story works for her because there are some crazies out there who are out to get her. I can understand this argument, but on the other hand, Sarah could score a major victory about her enemies if she would show the birth certificate, and then she could show the whole world, oh, these are all liars, they are just lying, and they are just making stuff up, and she could get a major victory with that. But still, she's not doing that.
Right, because and my point is that because I think that it's been pushed so far, and people have said that they know what the answer is, that it's basically working for her. It totally is working for her. Otherwise, she would fix it. Because I can tell you this about Sarah Palin. I've been following her for a long time. If something's not working for her, she does everything she can to shut it down, whether it's David Letterman or whatever it is. I mean, what is it, Family Guy television show? If it's not working for her, you'll get a Facebook notice. She responds. Last year, on July 3rd, when she resigned, I made some comments with David Schuster on MSNBC. Believe me, the next day I got a 4-page memo from her attorney. She didn't like what I had to say. I didn't backtrack because I hadn't said anything wrong. But she's not of the ilk to just let things lay out there that she doesn't want out there. And so for some reason it's working for her, and I'm not sure why, but it seems to be. But thanks for calling in, Patrick.